Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Just before we get started, check out the link in the description. My new program, the Lean Muscle Protocol, has just dropped. That'll help you with your training if you're very new to training. It gives you the breakdown of what plan I use personally to have achieved the results I have. Also go check out Amp's pre-workout. Use the code Leo for 10% off at checkout, and hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between a squat and a hinge. Now, this is very, easily confused, especially when you first start the gym. I still see some people confuse the techniques today, even if they've been going to the gym for a while. So I'm going to break down little nuances and specifics in terms of how these movements work, how you can get the most out of them, why they're beneficial, and how you can easily mistake techniques that are good for one for the other. And that may be causing you back pain, joint pain in your knees, your personal records might be going down, you might not be able to hit as much weight as you used to. There's all these different things that kind of can add up if you're not doing the technique correctly and don't have a good foundation, especially for these free weight kind of compound exercises that you get the most bang for your buck for, but you need to have good foundations in order to achieve them best. Now I'm going to go into the squat straight away, because squatting is the hardest movement in the gym, in my opinion, in terms of if you are lifting a certain weight, you're going to be putting a certain stress on your CNS, your central nervous system, and that is going to make you feel very fatigued if you're not doing it correctly, and it will make you fatigued anyway as an exercise because it's putting so much stress on your body. And I would always suggest having a spotter. I'm always going to say this in these videos, having a spotter is absolutely essential for these movements, especially for squats, because you have to either bail or somebody has to help you get it up. There's no kind of in between unless you're on a Smith machine or something like that. So squats primarily work your quads, your glutes, and your hips. Now there are different stances. There's high bar, and there's low bar squats if you're doing a barbell back squat. Now for high bar, this is more quad focused. Athletes use this more, whereas low bar powerlifters use it more, glutes get used more, and hips get used more. And you can usually lift more weight on low bar, but it's slightly different techniques, and people will be better at one thing than other thing for other people, because people have different femur lengths, obviously, everyone's different sizes, therefore they will be able to lift different amounts of weight and move differently and have different range of motions and all these different things. So I'm just going to show you guys briefly what a squat looks like in comparison. Nothing too high focus here. I'm just going to show you. So if you do a squat and you have your hands out in front of you, retract your scapula as you come down, but this is just gives you that balance when you do so. This is a squat right now. So I'm coming here, I'm going 90 degrees there. That's a squat. Whereas in comparison to a hinge, if I have a bar here, I'll get my lats tight, squeeze the bar there, and I'll push out, keep my back straight, and then I won't come too far past my knees, because then you come and round your back there. That's why a lot of athletes don't actually do kind of conventional deadlifts, because the risk to reward ratio in terms of injury isn't that good, and people tend to do trap bar deadlifts a lot more because it's more focused on your center of gravity. It's a better center of gravity for movement, and you're not loaded in one area. You have the bars either side. So you'll see a lot of athletes do trap bar and explosive movements, boxes, that kind of thing. But I just wanted to show you guys a brief kind of tangible look into how these different movements work, how they are. And I would like to explain, so for the hinge movement, I always think of sticking my glutes out as much as I can throughout the entire movement whilst keeping my back straight. Now for both of these movements, you should be having your core locked in, like I always say. So, and you have that all around there, because that's what's going to give you stability, that's what's going to give you focus. Also, make sure to have your chest facing up so you're not rounded on either movement. For squats or deadlifts, that's not what we want at all. But For hinge movements, stick your glutes out as much as you can, keep your back straight. And whenever you overload on this movement, you are tending to arch your back no matter who you are. You're tending to kind of go like that, or if I show you, like that, because of the weight increase. That's why a lot of people use belts. That's why I train back extensions, because I do RDLs with a straight bar. I don't do traditional deadlifts off the floor usually. I do RDLs though, but they don't come fully past that kind of motion I just showed you there, that's just past my knees. So yeah, they're both very complex movements especially in comparison to a lot of other exercises like machines, that kind of thing. They're a lot more simple. That's why I suggest people have a kind of base understanding and foundations, like I said before, but also start on machines as well, because you can kind of increase your expertise over time. So how would I program this? I program this myself having 2 leg days a week. I start off with one of the compound movements that I just mentioned, RDLs or barbell back squats, and I do range it. Sometimes I do maybe Bulgarian split squats or lunges or Smith machine. Same way for RDLs, I might do a trap bar sometimes. Like, I switch different things out sometimes, but for the main focus, I'd say I do barbell RDLs and barbell back squats. Now, I would do these once a week, starting off each leg day. So if you have 2 leg days a week, spread these out throughout the week. So I do upper lower. So I'd have an upper day, rest day, lower, rest day, upper day, lower, rest day, lower. So you have a lot of rest in between these movements. They're very taxing, and I wouldn't do them in the same day. I used to do them in the same day, but I realized that it's just too much stress on my CNS, especially when you start to lift heavy on these movements. There's a lot of, as I say, confusion with these movements as well. So just make sure you have the basics. Make sure you can do a body weight squat, and make sure you have the flexibility and the understanding to do a hinge movement as well. Because a common mistake, I'll show you another common mistake, is people when they deadlift, they do like a squat motion like this, and they'll come and squat like that, and that's putting a lot of stress on your knees. It's putting a lot of unneeded stress on your back. It's doing a lot of things. It's doing more damage than good. So yeah, definitely be careful when you start to do these movements, and definitely have someone potentially watch your form, whether that be a personal trainer, whether that be a buddy that knows what he's actually doing in comparison to you, or is more experienced than you. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing what you're doing, by the way. I didn't know what I was doing at the start. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But just have a base level of understanding, have that foundation, get those movements correct, and that will save you a lot of time. It will save you from injury, and it will also increase your ability to lift more weight, which is what we want, because you're going to get more bang for your buck, especially from these compound movements. You're going to gain more strength, muscle, and you're going to get more progression over time. So there's literally going to be no downside to that. So I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I hope you found it valuable, and I shall see you later.